Okay, a few people have been asking me for this, so I think it's about time that I do this. But I have the Little Heart of Mine Ableton file open, and I'm just gonna walk you through what it is. It's kind of funny that I'm starting with this one because you'll see pretty quick that Little Heart of Mine is one of my simplest songs ever. So I want to do this with the other songs on my album, and you'll see that those project files look pretty different from this one. But anyways, let's do it. I'll just start with these tracks up here at the top. This is my vocal bank. This is where I record all of my vocals. So all the vocal takes that I did, it's a lot. Like you can see, I record for so much trying to get the perfect take. Look at that. The verse was killing me. But I always save it just for archival purposes. You never know when you want to go look back at that stuff. And then I have all my vocals grouped into a acapella and my instrumental grouped into an instrumental. That's just good for like exporting stems. It makes it easier when I go back. I'm gonna start with the instrumental. Okay, so I have this saturated production group with an EQ and a standard clip on it. And this is all of it. So outside of that little transition at the end, this is all the production. I have these synths here, this little pad, and then these 3 drums. And that's the whole production of the song. I started with this oscillator synth here. It's an Analog Lab patch into an EQ, multi-bus compressor from SSL. It's basically Ableton's multiband dynamics, and then another EQ. What did I do on this one? Yeah, super simple. But I just played this lead out and then quantized it. I think it's fun to be hurt. And the only thing that changes in that lead throughout the whole song, so during the verse and the pre-chorus, that note right there, dun, dun, that's the only note that changes. When it's in the pre-chorus, it does this. And then in the chorus, it does this. Because that's the only note in the ARP that clashes with the different chord progressions. But that's that lead. That lead goes on throughout the whole song. And then under that is this little serum bass. This is the pre-chorus progression. Got serum, standard clip. It's chopping off the peaks. Pretty hard, actually. That's what the distortion's coming from. And then another multi-bus compressor and a glue compressor. Super, super simple. I've been using this since it came out. This is Ramzoid's 808 cooker. I should probably start working in some other 808 sounds, but this just always works for me and it hits. I don't even think I changed a lot. That's just Castle 2 preset. I might have pulled I mess with the release pretty often, but all the saturation, all that stuff, I typically leave it stock. But that just beefs up the serum bass. So this is the serum bass without it. And then this is with it. Much thicker. But anyway. And then next is this Yamaha pad. I don't know. Let me see how much you can see in the OBS. Can you see this? Hold on. You're going to see my OBS for a second. This little 2000s keyboard here, that's where that sound comes from. It's just one of the patches in there. It's like a choir patch. And I love it so much. Oop, I'm opening house. But yeah, it's this thing here. It's in mono, and it has like a lot of grit to it. It's just, I don't know, I love it. I use it you'll hear it all over my music now that I've showed it to you. But it's so simple. I'll turn it up a little bit so you... I don't know why. I love that sound so much. And then we have the rim, the like snare of the song. Pretty simple. What does it sound like raw? I haven't heard it in so long. Let me do this. I'm gonna put all this in an effect rack so I can mute it and hear what it sounds like by itself. That's crazy. That's what the rim sounds like before I did all that stuff. But yeah, it's a reverb, a little Valhalla reverb, compressor, a gate that cuts off the tail of the reverb, That's what gives it that kind of clippy sound. Some saturation from FabFilter Saturn, and then another standard clip. I put standard clip on a lot of stuff just for mixing purposes. Tame all the peaks. Then I have the hats. This is kind of cringe, but I just threw a redux on there and pulled the bits down, pulled the bit rate down. Classic hyperpop trope, but sounds good. I did the same thing with this rapid hat, and then I put an auto pan, so you hear it jumping between the speakers. Okay, so that's all. Oh, we have the ending part here. So at the end here, it ramps down into like a ballad version of the chorus. The reverb starts to kick in on that Yamaha pad. I built this little rev, this little riser out of this piano patch. This is Spitfire Labs soft piano. It's my favorite piano patch ever, I think. But I just played the chorus chords in a softer voicing and left it pretty. I don't think I put anything. Yeah, I don't have anything on there. Just a MIDI pitch shift. But I used that piano and some effects to make this little riser here. So sick. Let me turn it up. I love that. But that's it. Production wise, that's the whole beat. It's this many layers, which is not typical for my music. But sometimes I feel like if it's working, it's working. Like don't ruin the song by adding too much. That's me talking to myself. I tend to do that a lot. And the vocals carry this song, I feel like. So let's go through them. Here's the verse. I'll show you my vocal chain and stuff too. I must think it's fun to be hurt, to believe in lies. I know they're mine. So very warm. I normally don't make my stuff that warm. Like there's a really present low end in that. But let's hear. I'll just walk you through the chain, because this chain is on everything in this song. It's also, I change my vocal chain quite a bit. It's not very practical or efficient, but for some reason, every time I start a new song that I'm like bent on finishing, there's something satisfying about taking the vocal takes, starting from the ground up and building my vocal chain again. They end up being pretty similar, but sometimes I like learn new things in the process. But yeah, so this vocal chain got a little bit of gain at the top because my waveform was a little small. You can see here, I like it to be a little bit beefier than that. So I add a little bit of gain to compensate, into an EQ that just cuts off the lows and the inaudibles and the inaudibles at the top, and then everything below 100 here, just because a lot of that doesn't peek through in the fatter parts of the mix. And then 1176 compressor, this Teletronics compressor. When it comes to compressors, people feel really strongly about this. I don't. I have those plugins, so I use them. I think they sound nice, but I think for the vast majority of people, especially with like this internet music stuff, if you have good taste, you can do almost everything stock. And Ableton stock plugins are really, really good, in my opinion. So you could, I think you could replace these with glue compressors and just tweak the settings and get if not shot for shot, a very, very comparable sound. So I feel like I get caught up in the trap of thinking I need certain plugins to like get certain sounds. I think if you're creative and you're smart, you can build anything out of anything. But with that being said, this C6, I feel like there's something special about this plugin. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm the type of guy that like when I get a new plugin, I read the manual and like learn it through and through. But with this plugin, I don't know what exactly is causing it, but even when you reset it to like factory settings and you just drag it like a default preset where it's not doing any compression or anything onto a vocal, it already does something. I don't know what exactly it is, but it adds this like crispiness to the vocal. I feel like that pop vocal, like that Justin Bieber pop vocal sound, or even like a Drake like very, very multi-band compressor sounding vocal, this thing is the way to do it. It's similar to like Ableton's multi-band dynamics, but this one does something really, really special. I still use Ableton's OTT, not the OTT preset, but the multi-band dynamics plugin. I use that for a lot of stuff, but this one on the compression side is so, so good. And then I'll usually use multi-band dynamics for like noise reduction. But this thing, if you have the funds to get this, I don't think it's super expensive. This one's super sick. I use it on all my mixed vocals. But then we got some ad-libs. Same vocal chain, just with some delay at the end. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this too. At the very end of this one, I tried something new. I have the dry chain. So all that processing I just showed you is running through this channel. And then in parallel with that, I have this saturation channel running. Turned down. It's basically just a more heavily compressed and distorted version of that. Let me see if I can solo it. I just feel like having that sitting under just adds a little bit like of thickness to the vocal. I don't do that all the time, but it really worked on this record. So, okay, let's hear what these pre-chorus vocals sound like.
Likely story, now it's pouring. It's been raining, all that is for me. So sorry, I'm so sorry. It's not fair, never made me worry.
Yeah, so same vocal chain on everything. I keep my vocals dry a lot. I usually only add delay and reverb when it's like for a really specific really specific reason, or if it's like it's just a very stylistic choice. Some people just slap reverb on everything. I tend to not. I like the crispiness of like keeping a vocal dry and super clean, especially for like this more electronic stuff. These are the ad-libs. I love these so much. I have an auto pan. The rate starts at maximum, or like the max speed, and then slowly drags down. That's what gives it that like stuttery ramp effect. And then paired that with a delay, sounds so sick. But it's three layers. One of them is pitched. Yeah, 2 pitched down, panned, hard left and hard right. And then 1 normal sitting in the middle. I also forgot to mention, with all of my vocals, I tend to do this thing where I have 1 center main vocal, and then I'll have 2 dubs that are the same. I'll do the same take again twice and pan those hard left and hard right, just to give it like a thicker, more stereo feel. And I'll do that with all the harmonies too. So like you'll see there's 2 of every harmony. There's 2 dubs, 2 harmonies. And then when we'll get to the chorus later, even the ad-libs, there's 2 of each, and they're hard panned left and right. It's nice when you combine like something in the center and then stuff on the side too. What did I do here? Hold on. Oh yeah, this little distorted, verbed out ad-lib. Love that. Pre-chorus again. And then we have the chorus vocals. The second chorus vocals. So these ad-libs, I think, carry the song.
Yeah, don't lie to me. Holding my breath, you're bound to prove me right. And I'm trying to be a believer, but I'm bound to set it on fire.
So sick. So you can see like there's 2 of each of those. It's 3 ad-libs basically. So there's harmonies, 2 harmonies, 3 ad-libs, and there's 2 of each of those individual ones. So like this is just harmonies and ad-libs here. Yeah, I was happy with that. And then there's that like there's these little pop vocals here. It's like Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake, like simple boy band type melodies. I feel like everything that I'm doing sonically is basically like if Justin Bieber was super into video games or something. I don't know. Or he got really into Elden Ring. Okay. And then at the end, there's this ramp down. Because I automated the tempo, the delay on that yaw ad lib pitches down. Oh, it didn't. I started at a weird spot. It like pitches down because of the tempo change, and that sold that whole transition for me. I love it so much. This is the ending vocal.
Don't lie to me, holding my breath, you're bound to prove me right.
It's bounced right now. I typically, for my main vocals, I typically will put Melodyne before my tuning plugin. And I use, I don't know if I showed it. Did I show my tuning plugin? Just in case I didn't. I use Waves right here. This is Waves Tune Real Time. That's the primary one. Sometimes on the ad-libs, I'll just use this. I won't Melodyne. But on my main vocals, once I have all the takes that I want, I'll put Waves Tune, and then before that, I'll put Melodyne, and that's when I'll do like the fine tweaks and like the perfecting certain things. But I did that to this vocal here at the end, but I bounced it, so you're not seeing that. I think it's, yeah, there's nothing on the vocal chain right now, but very clean Melodyne vocal. That's it.
Don't lie to me, holding my breath, you're bound to prove me right.
Very raw sound. And then I saw someone do this one time, so I just copied them. I don't remember who it was, but I wanted the vocal to sound natural but still have full control over it. So typically what I do with my vocals, you see all these little fades here. I cut out all the noise manually in my vocals. I don't use a gate because I feel like it always has that like clipping sound, unless you want that specifically. Like I feel like Brakence does it a lot, where you'll hear the gate like close and open really hard, and it sounds cool. It can sound really cool, but for something where I want a more clean sound, I manually do it by hand, and it takes a long time. But when there's no in a quieter part of the song like this, clipping out the noise of that vocal, kind of like you really hear it when the noise disappears. It sounds even more artificial. So what I did was made the room really quiet, and then I just recorded my mic with no sound for like 6 minutes, and then basically use that as the new noise floor so I could control it. I took the quietest part of that mic noise, set it at the noise floor, and then I was able to clip out all the noise in my ending vocal here, still have full control over the amount of compression and whatnot. But because it's sitting on top of this mic noise, it sounds like you're in the room where I recorded it. And I don't know, I just thought that was sick. And then at the very end here, there's all these ad libs that I stacked and panned. Yeah, I do that in a couple songs. That just sounds magical to me, so I will probably be doing it more. But yeah, I just set it on loop and recorded like 30 takes and picked my favorite ones and just panned them and put them in different spots in the stereo space. And it just sounds so sick. But that's it. I mean, I yapped, but there's not a whole lot going on in this song. Just simple. I'd like to think it's tasteful. Yeah, so I'll do this for the other songs on the album as they come out too, and you'll see that a lot of those are a bit more complicated than this one. But thanks for watching. I'm gonna do more stuff like this, and yeah, if you mess with it, subscribe, say hi in the comments, like the video, all that stuff, and I'll see you next time.